I'm so proud of my good friend Randy, of course, his assistant Maria. They, obviously Randy. You hear me talk about Randy. He is the CEO of SCAG. SCAG is only a subsidiary of Metalcraft of Mayville. Metalcraft of Mayville, Wisconsin, is the parent company that builds SCAG mowers. But they also build, they build robotics. They build parts for military things. Like if you went to Metalcraft, maybe you can send me the website, Lummy, Metalcraft of Mayville. And Randy, obviously is the CEO of that company as well. Lummy, I think the Favre deal is an ixnay on the Favre deal.
Oh no.
Yeah. So let's just not bring it up, okay?
Definitely not.
So anyway,
I sent you Metalcraft to Mayville.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go right now.
Yes, I did.
Thank you so much. Wait till you see this place. Now, SCAG might be the sexier, shiny object of what they do. But Lummy, this is SCAG might be the most maybe pop culturally popular thing that Metalcraft of Mayville does. But look at everything they do. Let me see. I'll tell you everything they do. They do they build automation. They do agricultural, complete commercial lawn care. They build things, for mining, industrial, military, mining, power generation. I mean, Dan,
Wow.
Is that not a hell of a portfolio that you're in all these spaces, building parts or components for all of that?
That's amazing.
Yeah. And so Randy, congratulations. You picked up a Wally this weekend. If you win an NHRA event, people don't really realize how tough. Dan, you know a little bit about racing.
Wally.
And like most racing and the formats that you and I are familiar with is you have like qualifying. Well, first of all, you'd have practice, right? Mm-hmm. And then you'd have qualifying, right? And then qualifying will either set you for the main race or like on Saturday night racing, like at my track, qualifying will set you up for the heat. And then how you perform in the heat is how you stack up in the feature. Things like F1 and NASCAR and some of the bigger ones, qualifying's everything. How you qualify is where you start the race. But there's only like 2 or 3 things, right? Mm-hmm. Well, not on NHRA. You run I think I don't know if it starts on Thursday or Friday. Most NHRA matches or most NHRA races, but you qualify I think 8 times. So Dan, your first 8, I think your first 6 or 8 passes, you're really not even going against the guy beside you. You're just going for time.
So it's like literally like 6 or 8 engines you got to build.
Well, yeah. Oh no. Listen.
For the weekend, is it like 10 engines?
Oh no.
How many rebuilds?
Yeah. I mean,
each one's a rebuild.
Yes. Every time that dragster goes down, makes a run. I heard it was $65,000 was the cost, and that's if nothing blows up, nothing goes wrong. And they have 50 minutes, Dan, to take it down to the block. They take it down to the block, and if they have a catastrophic thing, they have to put a whole new motor in there. But they take it down to the block. They put new heads, new pistons, new crank, new cam, everything's brand new. And they do it in 52 minutes. But, you have to run like 6 or 8 times all day Friday and all day Saturday. You're up there racing, Lummy, going up there like, I think maybe 3 times each day. And then that sets you for Sunday's finals. And then it's like 1 versus 16 because only the top 16 cars make it. So it's like 1, 16, 2, 15, 3, 14. You guys get it, right?
How many cars normally obviously enter on like a Thursday?
Oh, like there'll be 18 to 20 cars.
Oh, okay.
So there'll be 2 to 4 cars that go home. And so here's the fun. And when you finally have gone through all the qualifications and found out what your seed's going to be, I think Justin Ashley, who drives for Randy in the SCAG Nitro Dragster, I think he qualified 3rd for this event. And so, he finally Sunday, so if there's 16, Dan, if there's 16 race cars, that means one after one run, it takes it down to 8, right?
Just like a tournament?
Yeah. Yeah, so after one run, it takes it down to 8. So on Sunday, your first run, we'll see if you'll make top 8. Then your second run, see if you win, you hit top 4, right? Which is, I would say, probably considered the semifinals. Then on your third run, that puts you top 2. So you're running 4 times, Lummy, on Sunday, on the final day of the meet. You're running 4 times in one day.
Wow.
So, and then if you win, you get what is called a Wally, the trophy that the NHRA gives out, and it's very coveted because you got to think about. You had to win 4 times in a row on Sunday, and hopefully get some decent seeds. So here's the finals, Lummy. Here's the finals for the NHR. That I think they are at Brainerd. I forget. Is it Brainerd, Pennsylvania? I forget. Is it Pennsylvania or New Jersey? I don't know where Brainerd is.
That's one of my favorite tracks, though, Bubba.
Oh, Brainerd.
Yep.
Yeah. Is it on your bucket list right next to Fenway?
The way the asphalt just flies.
The way it grips.
It's just such a turn on.
You're big on the grip?
Huge.
Do you like the smell?
Yeah, I love the smell of asphalt.
And Seth, if I took you to an NHRA, now you got to understand, like Randy is like right here. I think this might be Randy.
It's in Minnesota.
That's right. It's in Minnesota. I knew that. Brainerd, Minnesota. I knew that. Like this is where this is probably Randy right here. That's how close to the car you are.
Holy cow.
Now, mind you, this motor right here produces about 12,000 horsepower. And if you stand right here, Seth, you would have an anxiety attack. You would throw up.
Why? Because of the smoke exhaust?
Just because of the exhaust. First of all, the nitros burn in your eyes.
Oh, no.
And secondly, it's like literally the most violent thing you've ever been that close to.
What's worse, that or shooting a 50 caliber?
Oh, I'd shoot 50 calibers like Yosemite Sam on both arms, and compared to this.
Is that much more violent than a 50?
Yes.
Because a 50 is violent. It shakes the ground.
No, nothing like this. Picture 1,050 millimeter.
Wow.
50 cal. Picture 1,050 cal.
That much?
Picture 1,050 cal line up across there, and then it might equal. I don't know.
Wow.
This is unbelievable, but Randy's driver, Justin Ashley, looks like he was the 8th seed, so he didn't get that good of a seed. Came up through the 8th seed. This is the finals Sunday in Brainerd, and anytime my buddy Randy can win a Wally, it's a big deal.
Ashley was out first, and he gets there first, 374.
And here's the deal, man. What you guys don't realize is I think it's 4 or 5 G's on the takeoff, but it's 7 or 8 G's when they throw the chutes. Like so, Dan.
Your eyeballs want to come out your face.
Yeah, they have their head so. They have like a Super Hans system in there, so so their head really can't move much at all. Because I think 8 G's is a lot to stop, ain't it?
It sure is. It's 8 times the gravity that we normally experience.
4.5 at 329 miles an hour for Sean Langdon, a slowing 4:02 at 261.
How good of a driver do you have to be to drive straight for half a second?
Oh my God!
It's that last. It's the very beginning, and then as it gets faster and faster, there's no room for error.
Send me funny car.
In car.
Okay.
There's one from Ron Capps. And Seth, you tell me, because Seth, you're afraid to go over 80.
Well, I'm not afraid. I just don't want to get. I don't want to get a ticket. I don't want the repercussions.
Okay.
But if I could go 80,
they don't give tickets on the racetrack. Okay.
Well, then I'm going to let it eat, big boy.
A racetrack is completely opposite of life. They want you to go as fast as you. They want you to break the speed limit by as much as you can.
I will.
This year, Justin Ashley is your top fuel.
And I've met this guy 3 or 4 times. His dad was a legendary driver. what a great guy. And congratulations, Randy. Congratulations, Maria. Metalcraft, Skag Mowers. Hell, Lummy, I spent 8 hours on my Skag this past weekend.
Oh, man.
Champion
awesome.
Justin.
Can we claim his ashes, Bubba?
What?
Can we claim his ashes in case anything ever happens?
We're not getting into any of that, okay?
I sent
buddy?
you the in-car funny car.
We're not getting into any of that. That's a story in
That's
itself.
a no-go already?
I had to take all that down.
That's on the no-go list?
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the racing community completely did not see my vision. And they're like, I thought I was trying to be selfish. And meanwhile, listen to this. I wouldn't even be a qualifier for it because Scott Bloomquist has never won at my track.
So it's not selfish at all.
So
it's just a truly interesting idea.
Right, and how I broke down the NTSB report and that I insinuated that Scott committed suicide made me the bad guy, and the racing community has completely flipped out on me. So I took it all down.
Yeah, but But it did look like he committed suicide.
He did. You
just can't say it?
You're just not supposed to say it. So I'm not going to say
Come on. This is another world event that you're not allowed to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of this.
Just settle down, buddy.
It's the racing community.
It's the racing community, and I got them as they're my customers.
Okay.
So I got to just say, you know what? I probably shouldn't have talked about it, and I should just keep my mouth shut. And listen, the day before, Lummy, I did when we found out about it on Friday, I put a little picture of me and Scott together with me, Larry Plummer, Scott, and Bella. I put a little picture and said, rest in peace, Yes. So we're just going to leave it at that, okay?
Slump for you guys. You started off fast, went through a slump, and it looks like you're peaking at the right time. You left first, you outran him. Does it get any better than that?
Justin Ashley, driver of the Skag, Metalcraft of Mayville, nitrous dragster owned by my boy Randy.
No, it doesn't. This was fantastic. What an incredible weekend. The first burnout we did on this new chassis, on this new car that we have was Q1 here this weekend, and I think right now we're hitting our stride. For us, it's all about the countdown and preparing for Indy, which is...
Does it me or do the dragster guys seem a little more intellectual than like the NASCAR? Let me tell you something. Guy put a fender on me. I'm gonna go and it sounds like the NASCAR guy, the Nitro guys are a little bit more, I don't know, little bit more refined.
Which is the next one, and this was an all-team Toyota final, but to be able to put this car specifically that has all the touches from everybody Metalcraft of Mayville right into the winner's circle is just...
So maybe Randy's building parts out of Metalcraft now for the dragster too, right?
Yeah.
Should be.
Feels so good.
I guarantee you Randy took a warehouse, built another warehouse, and is doing nothing but R&D, metal crafting for how to make his parts even more better on the dragster.
Well, it would make sense if metal crafting was doing all their fabricating. I mean, that makes perfect sense.
No, I'm saying,
Skag doesn't have the infrastructure.
No, but I'm saying like everybody in racing pretty much buys the same chassis, the same canopies, the same side rails.
Oh, it's not all like bespoke individual.
Yeah,
it's standard.
It's all just there's like 4 or 5 manufacturers for about everything in the sport.
Oh.
But if you had your own CNC and R&D and you do metal, you work with metal for a living, building various parts for the mining industry and the agriculture industry. You could be looking at some of your parts on your dragster and be like, I could make that better. I could make that slicker or sleeker. You know what I'm saying? If you own Metalcraft,
you do everything.
Not if you own Jim's Tire Shop,
right.
But if you own Metalcraft and you're already prefabricating metal parts, wouldn't you look at every metal part on your dragster and say, I might be able to make that roll cage so that it's a little bit, thinner and thicker and more aerodynamic and better. I think Justin kind of says here that maybe they're building some of the parts back in Mayville. I think he says it.
Metalcraft of Mayville right into...
Yeah, hold on. I think he says that.
Yes.
All the touches from everybody Metalcraft of Mayville right into the winner's circle.
So he's saying, I think that maybe they
tweaked it.
They're taking a few little parts and Randy's putting his little Mayville spin on it.
It just feels so good. Mike, Tommy, and the guys, this is because of them. They work incredibly hard. They put this...
By the way, man... Like whether you're Aaron from Average Joe Tampa or whether you're my buddy Creatine Travis Lummy, who went to Mike's Lawnmower of Ocala, the #1 Skag dealer. I gotta find Lummy where the nearest. Can you Lummy find me the Tampa and Clearwater based Skag dealers?
Yes.
Yeah, I need to talk to those people.
Car together.
Tell them that when people roll up in there at Bubba Army, I'm going to tell them Randy, the CEO, says give him 10% off.
Short notice.
I recently read a book called The Formula about Formula One racing, and how it's kind of evolved over the last 30, 40 years. And the science and the engineering behind racing is so interesting to me. It would be so cool to be.
And here's what they do in Formula One is they take a part, and then they try to make it as light as they can, and then they try to send it to one of their fabricators to make it better. Like everything. I mean, everything from the lug nuts to the steering wheel, Formula One is always trying to get an advantage.
Every time. And the team that is dominating is the team that got that advantage during the offseason. And everyone can't catch up.
They found a little, like they could put a wicker on the left tire, you know, like a 1/8 of an inch lip on the wicker gave it, 3 extra pounds of downforce going into a corner.
Exactly.
And so,
it's these tiny little tweaks that make massive differences.
And you make 40 of those tiny little tweaks.
It's 2
little
seconds.
Little here, little there. No, it's a half a second.
But that half a second for 35 laps is like a minute.
That half a second for qualifying gets you on the pole.
Right.
And clean air wins usually.
Yeah.
When you got clean air, I'm just saying that's just the way it is. Money got so bad in NASCAR that they had to limit the people that have wind tunnels, like Hendricks and Penske and those guys who have wind tunnels, and then there were some teams like Trackhouse and other teams, because wind tunnels are like $25 million.
Maybe even more. And they did it in Formula One as well. They limited the wind tunnel
you can
time.
only have. Here's the deal: if you have a wind tunnel in NASCAR, I think the rule is you can only wind tunnel like 6 times a year. And if another team in NASCAR doesn't have a wind tunnel, you have to provide them with, like if Trackhouse didn't have a wind tunnel, Hendrick have to give him 3 and Tony would have to give him 3. So he's on the same, same.
Has the same opportunity.
Right, has the same opportunity to put his car.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with the teams having the same opportunity as long as you're not making the teams have the same outcomes. And so that's the difference between equality and equity.
NASCAR is horrible. And NHRA, man, it's all about, there's hardly any rules. Like NHRA is just bolt on whatever it takes to go faster. Like there are no rules. I mean, there's no displacement rules. There's no, if you could find maybe a nozzle or an injector to put maybe even more fuel in there and you could somehow burn it. And it just, Big Daddy just 50 miles, 70 miles up the road, Lummy, one of the greatest NHRA innovators of all time, Big Daddy Don Garlitz, who was the first guy to take dragsters back in the day when Big Daddy drove them, where the motors were in the front. But Big Daddy had a catastrophic motor blow up and blew off half of his foot.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
and so then he started saying, well, if the engines are behind us.
He started that?
Yes, Big Daddy Don Garlitz.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that was transformative.
Bubba Clem for the win on the trivia. Let me look it up. Who started rear engine nitrous dragsters? And so Big Daddy he came, and like, again, Dan, there are no rules where you put the motor back in the day. It's like just show up. And so Big Daddy one race showed up with a big ass motor behind him, and everybody thought he literally was like, an alien, because he had 20 other dragsters that, the motors were up front, and then Big Daddy came in here. He might have debuted it at the Gator Nationals with a rear engine car, and it's never been the same.
Incredible. I think Cooper was the first one to do it in Formula One, and they don't even do cars in Formula One anymore. And people have no idea how transformative that was in auto racing.
And I do know that there are rules in NHRA, but they also are all about creating more horsepower, getting an advantage. I know there's rules of NHRA, just not nearly. They don't have nearly the rules that NASCAR does.
And give it to Bubba for the win.
Hold on. Go ahead and read the article, please.
Don Garlitz is credited with inventing the first successful rear-engine top-fuel dragster for drag racing.
And for all you haters out there, bitch, S my D.
Bitch.
Hey, Maria, everybody at Medical.
Hold on. He thinks my boy Randy and Maria. Those are Randy's the prez and Maria's the glue. She's what keeps it all together. Randy runs around like 100 miles an hour, man, meeting dealers, making sure everybody's happy, just the most hospitable. He's probably the most hospitable, nicest CEO in the world. Like, Dan, he'd meet you one time. I could take you up to the Gator Nationals. He'd meet you one time, and then next year at the Gator Nationals, he would text me and said, hey, you bringing you and Dan coming up this year? Like, he would completely remember who the hell you are. He's just unbelievable when it comes to marketing and motivating people and innovation.
Those types of people make great CEOs and politicians.
Yeah.
Together on short notice, and Randy, Maria, everybody at Metalcraft of Mayville, thank you guys for everything that you do. Mac Tools, Lucas Oil to Lucas Oil Race, Impact, Cotto, the list goes on and on. It's because of them that we're out here doing what we do. Great job, team. Thank you to all our Skag Power Equipment dealers and distributors out here this weekend.
Yeah, see, Randy, Dan, uses each drag race as an opportunity to bring all of his dealers from his Skag, places into the race and get up and close and get like a pit pass and get like in the hospitality suite where they feed you.
So it's a way to give back and to build relationships.
Yes. So, most lawnmower places have 3 or 4 different brands. They may have a Skag, they may have Bad Boy, they may have X-Mark, and they may have like Toro. They always at least have 2, but sometimes 3 different lines, right? Well, when that guy that's a Skag dealer, an X-Mark dealer, and a Toro dealer, Lummy, when he as the owner of the lawnmower shop or the machinery place that you buy your zero turns, when he I don't know, maybe he lives like in Valparaiso, Indiana, and he comes down to Indianapolis 2 weekends from now, and he goes to the U.S. Nationals because him and his 2 of his boys that work at the shop, and once they get there, Lummy, Randy, the CEO of Skag, he makes sure you're completely fed for the entire weekend. Nice. Like they serve 2 meals a day, lunch and dinner at the hospitality suite. You get a VIP starting line pass, so you and Randy and 30 or 40 other dealers are right there behind the car. You can't get any more closer. And so when you've had that experience with the guy who owns Skag, and Dan Diaco walks in and says, hey, I'm looking for a nice zero-turn mower. Well, did the guy from X-Mark do anything? And did the guy from Toro do anything? Or did they just come and visit you every once in a while and maybe bring you some donuts or something? But meanwhile, Randy from Skag just brought you down to a full-blown VIP hospitality suite launch starting line deal at an NHRA event. You're a dude. Chances are you're into that stuff. What are you going to say? That you're going to say, you know what, Dan? You could spend that $4,400 on that X-Mark, but it's not near. You could go $300 or $400 more dollars and get a machine that's much more rugged. It's the Skag Turf Tiger. It's way more rugged than any of the 2 I got, and I got to tell you, man, it's a really good company. I just met the CEO, and it's a really good company. They're made out of made in America, Wisconsin. Who are you going to put? What type of brand are you going to push on that guy when Johnny Consumer walks in and says, Lummy, I'm Warren. Is your name Warren? Are you a salesman here?
I am a salesman. How can I help you?
Yeah, I see that you got Bad Boy mowers, Toros, and Skags. I'm interested in like a 62-inch zero-turn mower for my 3 acres. What would you suggest?
Well, let's go look at the Skags. It's the best thing we have here.
All right, so we're not even looking at the other 2?
No, Skag all the way. We have those just for show.
The other ones are for show?
Yep.
Now, see, Skag looks like it might be a little bit more, but it seems like it's so much more well made.
Well, do you want to come in every year with a broken down lawnmower?
No.
Okay, well then you want to go with Skag.
Is it American made?
Sure is.
Where's it made?
It's made up in Wisconsin.
Oh, really?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'm a big Packer fan.
Oh, there you go. Go Pack, go.
If you love that segment, then check out BubbaArmyHQ.com and do a deep dive on past shows. The Bubba the Love Sponge Show will be right back.